Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Mindy G, trying to review the latest Screen Life horror film. This one is called Bloat.
Y'all ready for this?
Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Mindy G. Now, Bloat is a 2025 American Screen Life supernatural horror film. It was written and directed by Pablo Absento. Now, the film stars Ben McKenzie, Bayana Novakovic, Sawyer Jones, Malcolm Fuller, and Kane Kosuke. Now, this film follows a mother and her two sons that are vacationing in Japan when one of her younger sons almost drowns in a lake. Later on, the parents realize that there is something wrong with their boy. Oh no, here we go. Now, horror fans, with the advancements that were made to the internet and with mobile devices, filmmakers of horror films have created a new subgenre that is called screen life. Now, screen life is a film that takes place on one or another computer screen where all the audience see all the action that is taking place on the computer screen. Just like you're watching me here on my computer screen right here, if this were a found footage, if this was a screen life film, then everything what I would do, you would see on the screen. Whether it's FaceTiming, doing chat rooms or chatting, doing Google searches, or simply live streaming, everything takes place on the computer screen. It's almost like similar to found footage, but instead of using Go cams and broadcasting on the computer, everything takes place on the computer screen. So that's kind of the difference between what we see in other found footage horror films, like in Def Cam, or I think it was Def Screen, where the guys were using GoPro cams and they were streaming on their computers, but it was still a found footage horror film, not like uh, screen time films where everything takes place on a computer screen. Now, it's kind of a different and creative way of storytelling and filming, let alone a horror film. And if it done correctly, it can create a decent horror film because we've seen several examples of this type of storytelling done correctly. Now, horror films that have used this premise include Unfriended and its sequel, Unfriended: The Dark Web, along with Host. And then we have the thriller film Searching and Missing. Now, as I stated earlier, Unfriended, while a lot of people might not like the film, I thought it was an effective horror film. And obviously, the thriller film Searching and Missing were actually very good, effective ways of using this type of storytelling in those thrillers. And I really did enjoy those two films. Now, that brings us to writer director Pablo Absento on her latest project and her first feature full length film and entry into this subgenre horror. It's called Bloat. Now, in this story, we're introduced to Jack, who is a military officer stuck in a base in Turkey, while his wife Hannah and their two sons, Kyle and Steve, are vacationing in Tokyo, Japan. Now, their youngest son, Kyle, almost drowns in a lake. He starts behaving strangely, and when FaceTiming him, Jack believes he sees something weird appearing on the screen. He says, like, what the hell? This leads Jack down a dark path as we watch him on a desperate search to where his son's soul is in jeopardy along with the lives of his family. That's kind of what this film is about. As we get to see Jack noticing the strange things that are happening to his son, he goes on a desperate path to find out what's wrong with his son, and that's basically what we see in the film. Now, for her first feature-length film, Pablo hits all the mark when using this premise and story. From the start of the film, we audience gets to see the tragedy that takes place between Jack and Hannah, which I want to mention here. Jack's effort to maintain a fixture in his family's life while he's stuck in Turkey, desperately trying to figure out what's wrong with Kyle. Now, when you're watching this film, this is kind of nothing new. It's basically the same thing we've seen in similar films, such as the thriller film Searching and Missing, but it uses a supernatural plot instead of what those films are. It's just simply just human lives and just thrillers, but nothing supernatural. This one uses a supernatural plot. And I do like the fact that Pablo uses an old Japanese myth as a focal point, which is something which shouldn't be surprising since he actually spent 9 years in Japan. So eventually, I'm pretty sure she did her research about this supernatural entity that she uses in this particular film. And I thought it was a clever idea because we rarely get to see that much mythology from other countries, especially from Japanese mythology. However, despite all this, the film is rather quite dull and boring and doesn't have the heart that the other films with a similar premises had. I was very disappointed with this one. Because you see, the one thing that's searching and missing, along with Unfriended Half, was that there was tension and suspense in all those films. Because in both Searching and Missing, the audience care about the leads in those films, such as David Kim in Searching as he's searching for his missing daughter. And the same for Ju Allen. She goes on a frantic search to find out where her mother is at after she goes missing. That's what we enjoy about those two films. But we don't get that here. And again, both films have the right amount of tension and suspense that you need for a film like this. And unfortunately, as I stated before, we don't get this here. When watching this film, I didn't feel that Hannah and Steve were any type of danger from Kyle, or I didn't feel anything well for Jack as well. It's like, okay, we're waiting for something. We're waiting for something. Where's the danger element so that we feel sorry for them? Or Hannah and Steve any type of danger, but for some reason we don't get that. There's no danger here at all. Because as I said before, when the film begins, a very tragic thing happens to Jack and Hannah in this particular in the film. And unfortunately they really don't explore that aspect of the film. And later on, I say right around the second act, we learn that because of the tragic events that happened, something happened to Jack and something happened to Hannah. But unfortunately, since Pablo doesn't explore those aspects of those two characters, it just comes off, let's just throw this and see if it sticks. Now, you would also think by using a supernatural trope, the film would at least be scary or frightening, but we get none of that as well, neither. I mean, again, a lot of people may complain about Unfriended, but at least it was scary. It was frightening. I mean, you got to give the actors credit for making everything what they were doing believable. And you can't fault the actors, as Ben McKenzie, known for playing the young Jim Gordon on the TV show Gotham. I mean, does what he can with the script that Pablo's worked for him, but he doesn't allow him to do anything with it. He tries and tries, but unfortunately, when the script doesn't allow you to do anything more than what they does on the screen, it just comes off as flat and dull. I mean, the same thing goes for Australian actress Bayana Nakovic, as she simply goes through the motions of a stressed out mother. Never at any point in time do we believe something very stressful is happening to Hannah, because unfortunately the film doesn't allow her to be put through the ringer as she would suspect she should be. Yes, she is a single mother trying to raise two boys, and there's something wrong with her son. Obviously, something's wrong with her son, but we don't get enough of that to make the audience believe that there's any type of danger or that she's stressed out. And again, Pablo never allows the audience to get to know the family. There's no character development, hence, the audience never gets a chance to feel any type of danger that they should be for a film like this. I mean, it's like this, there's no real character buildup. We don't get to see the aspects of Sam or Kyle before the events happen to Kyle. We're automatically put into the situation that they are, but there's no real character build us to let the audience care enough about this family. No, you would think by using the supernatural and including something that hasn't been seen before in film, it would be something. But unfortunately, this film is just again dull, boring, and lackluster, especially during the third act of the film. It's like, that's it? This is what you're going to include the film with? Man, I mean, overall, Pablo's first feature length film is a total miss despite some of the good acting. It's just a dull and boring film that doesn't have the heart of suspense that we've seen before in other films with this type of premise or using screen life. It's just, oh, God. Oh, boy. We've had a good run, but obviously we had to finally have our first bad horror film of the year. So I'm going to give Bloat only one of my five bloody gold coins. Yes, we finally have our first bad horror film of the year. I mean, there's others too, but as far as this one is concerned, yeah, I think you can skip this one. Like I said, it's just dull and boring. So there we had, horror fans. That is my review and video of Bloat. Hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up, like, and share. It really helps out with that YouTube algorithm. Have you seen Bloat? What are your thought about it? Did you enjoy it, or did you think this was also dull and boring like I experienced it? Please leave your comments in the comment section below and tell me your thought about the film. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put up new videos such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember that horror rules. And I see you in the next video. Guys, stay safe out there.